A lot of our job is getting the news and then redistributing it. We still want to add something to the story because you're not doing much for the reader if you just take a press release and then take out the important information and put it in a post. The way that you get good at this job is to be the best, fastest. I feel like people just assume that you have to decide between one of those two and then make that the area of focus, and it's not. You have to do both, because if you don't, you're not going to last very long. Holy shit, they just laid off.
What? What?
I'm looking at this thing that Matt Leone just said about the Sony PR layoffs.
Yes.
That's like every Sony contact that I have.
I mean, you know, all these people have been there forever.
Right.
I want you to reach out to Sony PR and see if you could turn this into a story.
Okay, literally, who do I reach out to? Because all of my contacts are no longer employed. Real quick, would you be willing to go on the record about some of this stuff? Because Brian's asked me to write something about it.
Yeah, I don't really want to go on record about it. I'll talk about things that are all public information.
Okay. But I can't like quote you or anything?
I'd rather not.
Okay. People aren't willing to take the time or effort to give you the information that you need when there's not much benefit to them as far as viewership goes.
Go through and tweak your story. Make sure it's 100% ready and that you can just drop it in.
Yeah, hey, can you please ping Alyssa? The Sony just, or Kotaku just got it up. But once we have an actual website, I think it's gonna get, I pray to God, it's gonna get a lot easier for us to get those contacts, because ultimately that means we get more information that we can pass along to readers. Being first on it was sort of the thing that we were banking on.
Go ahead and set it live.
That was exciting, even though Kotaku got it before us. I'm sort of the resident Pokemaniac, which it makes me pretty much irresistible to members of the opposite sex, which is like, whoa, I have a girlfriend, you know, calm down. It was always out of my hands whether or not I was gonna play video games, because I have two older brothers, and that's just sort of how the cookie crumbled. I just sort of turn my brain off and just think about how I would trade in everything I know and everyone I love in this world just to live in that wonderful, you know, Poke universe. I went to school for journalism, and I always loved playing games, so writing about news seemed like a natural fit. There's actually no way to drink one of these without looking like a complete and total junkie. Oh God, that was an old one. News is this organic thing. It really is like a living part of the site.
You know, we often call it like the heartbeat of the site, right? It's regular, it's updated, it's real time.
People care about what is happening in this industry beyond, like, is this game any good or not?
The goal is to, you know, be able to deliver, you know, a certain level of original, unique reporting.
Right now we're going to the studio for Stoic Games, and they're putting together this turn-based strategy Viking game called the Banner Saga.
You know, it's not always about getting the scoop on a hot new game. Sometimes it's about telling the story about a game that never happened. A lot of the history of video games and a lot of those personal stories gets lost because it's tied up in a product or a franchise.
This will be great, because if the interview goes really poorly, we can just get drunk. Hi, I'm Griffin.
I'm John.
John, hi, it's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Hey, how's it going?
Alex?
Alex, hi. It's nice to meet you. So is this the first place that you guys moved into? Because I remember reading something on your site about moving into like a sheep, a goat shack.
You know, it's an exciting time to be making games. People are just inventing new types of games and new kinds of gameplay and new ways that games fit into your life outside of the tradition of really big budget mainstream PC and console games.
So this is the Archer dying animation.
That's super cool.
The people that actually make the games give you some sort of perspective into this media that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Thanks again, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be in touch. I'll let you know when our thing goes up, and stop by whenever you guys are closer to launch. All right, thanks a lot again.
We're at this really weird stage, having to not only figure out how we're going to cover news, but also having an opportunity to work with a bunch of reporters before the site's technically live.
Brian, I feel like, is the most news-hungry dude I've ever met, even though we cover games and not like elections.
Yes. I promise I won't say a word until you tell me it's okay.
I think Brian was born to be a news hound.
But is he able to go back a little bit and talk about how this all came to be and some of the issues that were conquered?
I mean, so excited about waking up at 7 a.m. every day just to do news.
Cool. Well, thank you. I guess the 4,000 emails and IMs and phone calls to you paid off. If I had to choose one thing that I could do, it would be to start from scratch and build up a news organization. I just wanted to take a moment to go through scheduling. I know a lot of you guys haven't had deadlines happen multiple times in a day, and that can be very stressful, so we just want to see how everybody's handling it.
I'm miserable.
I hate life.
I look for news every day, figure out what's worth reporting.
Breaking news, following up on stories, just being a journalist, basically.
Or sometimes I set things on fire and make my own news. That's not true.
If you're not working, then you're looking for stories. And then if you find something, we have a place where you can put them where Brian and I can vet them and see if the information's new. And then if it is, then we assign it to somebody. Basically, people are writing stories every half hour, and there's also people writing stories on an hourly cycle that overlaps it. And in any given day, there's like 50 deadlines.
When I created the schedule, guess what I forgot? That you guys eat. That you're human beings who eat food.
I know Brian and Griffin both have a lot of expectations of trying to get them prepared for what it's gonna look like on day one. It's not like, okay, like now we start and we'll get up to speed. On day one, it's like, we're at speed.
By next Tuesday, we should have the alpha version of Polygon up and running, meaning tight and porous, fully executable. So what they want us to do is to start putting stories into both platforms, for Verge and for Polygon, starting next week.
Oh, man. Think of it as what Griffin and I are going to be introducing you guys to is the fine art of juggling, and what Chris is doing is dousing those balls in gas and lighting them on fire. So, go team.
We're not reinventing the wheel as far as going out and getting stories, like getting our hands dirty. Pretty much all the big sites are doing that. We're not going to know if we did a good job or not until the first minute that the site is live and we see what people think of what we've been doing.
I'm lucky enough to be doing this not only because I love video games, but also because I'm sort of along for the ride, and I'm seeing something go from being unknown to being pop culture to just being culture.
You were at the big bang of this explosion that happened when computers met games and invented this new kind of thing, which is the digital game, the video game.
News is all about preparation. It's about getting ahead of information so that you can disseminate it better than anybody else. So not being able to prepare for something is terrifying. But all you can do is just be optimistic that you're working with the right people to get the job done to the best of your abilities. And I think we have that. But that is not going to help me sleep any better, unfortunately.
So the expectation that we should have, that everyone should have going into Q4, is that there's going to be a lot of reviews to do. There's going to be a lot of short timetables on doing those reviews.
A tiny bit of real talk. Phil and I are probably going to do between 12 and 14 reviews each between the beginning of October and the end of November. And in case you weren't aware, that is a lot of reviews. That is 1.5 to 1.75 reviews a week, which is gonna kill us.